Live. You're live. Oh, fantastic. Oh, look at that. Ooh, push. Got that one. Oh, so. No, that's not working. Okay, yeah, we're just going to have to go for us. This has to be us, like. Right. Right then, Julie. Okay, so this is a little test. And does this share screen? Yeah, share screen. Fantastic. So we can give it a go. Right, Julie, you are in performance mode. I can tell you're already in.
It's a slouch or something. Is that your end?
Okay, so now we want to record our experiment that we're conducting this year, 2025. And we've got a little plan of what we're doing. We're going traveling. We're going to live in different parts of the world, and basically Eastern Europe. And we are going to be experimenting with producing content online, with AI as well, and between ourselves and engaging people. And it's all done in a different way.
Yeah, that's very important.
Right. So this recording here is us just kind of having our
I might need to move. If I do lean back, I go out of shot.
Okay. And so what we're doing is we're recording our experience. So this is meant to be more like a window where people can kind of look in to what it is that we're doing.
See what we're up to.
Yeah. So we're doing a preview and review of what we've done and what we're doing.
Yeah. How we're getting on. Yeah.
And so we're going to be doing this every day. And so we don't expect anybody to be joining us.
It'll be left with people do.
Yep. However, we want to transform this medium. Part of this experiment is to transform this medium. Anybody watching is the only reason they're watching is because something interesting is happening in the world.
Okay.
Yeah. And so nobody's watching now because we haven't done anything. We haven't contributed to anything in the world. But should something actually happen, something, for example, was viral, or we've got a bunch of people that are really interested in trying to generate revenue, we go, okay, so wait, who are these people? Where did they come from? And they might choose and be watching us now.
Sounds good.
So the idea is that people see we're just like normal people. Okay, there's no big clever thing going on. We don't have lots of money. We're not part of a company or an organization. There's no, anybody backing us. We're just two people.
You said about it being genuine and sort of open and transparent.
Yeah. And there's loads and loads of things out there that are doing this, but we're doing it in a slightly different way. Where so for example, this medium here. So we're going to be doing things like, the book Fulcrum and all the various, psychosocial and relational tools that are in that book. Including Scale and the app and how that works. And it's basically a tool set for people to participate in and change the conditions in which they're living. Okay. And if we do that collectively, the world changes. So
yes, it's the idea that we're talking about things that we will have taken action on and done something about. But then it's also other people can listen to what we have to say, but also take action themselves.
That's right. So this is a record of what we're doing. And so then people say, okay, so how did they do it from absolutely nothing to whatever it is that they are, which obviously is incredibly successful. Okay, no, it doesn't have to be. That's the point. It's before things are successful. That's the thing. That's the thing that's important. It's not what the success is. And then people making stuff up afterwards, retrospectively. It is following, oh, wait a minute, this is what happened. Yep, this is literally what happened.
Is burgeoning a good word for that?
Maybe.
Emerging, something like that.
Okay, you've used that one. Okay, so the idea is that you need to get used to this kind of like process, and so do I, so that we're not explaining lots of things, and I feel as if I am, because you used to do it too. It's more just like we're just happen to do our talks. It's just that we happen to have kind of beside a window where people could look at.
Yeah, so it's like a little snapshot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Viewing.
Yeah. Now, the difference in the medium, so let's talk a little bit about this medium, is that most people think that people are looking this way and what we're doing is the thing that's important.
Because people are just watching and kind of consuming.
Yeah. Whereas we're interested in the reflexive state. So it's the person listening. So whenever one of us is talking, the other person is listening. The person that's listening is in the same state as the people watching.
Yes.
So therefore, it's not really the person who's talking goes, oh, okay, blah, 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 blah. Who are you talking to? Oh, hello. I'm talking to you primarily, the person who's listening. But the person who's listening, so when you're talking, I'm listening, and I'm in the receptive state. Okay? And the people that are listening are in the receptive state, because they don't actually have power to be able to engage us. In fact, this is live, so people could. But generally, once it's finished, it's a recording. People think things are recorded in the past, and that's what we are. We're in the past. And that's why this podcast thing, stream, whatever, is called The Year Everything Changed.
Instead of changes or changing.
Because the people watching it might be in 2025, but it might be in 2026 now. And so the perspective is that this thing, us talking day 1 of 2025, January the 1st, it's a thing in the past.
Okay. Yeah, as soon as you've spoken.
That's right. And so it's absolutely true. When somebody looks at it, they're going, okay, what's this about? It is in the past. It was recorded yesterday, the day before, a week ago, a month ago, whatever. And therefore, it's old. Right? And so therefore, we are attempting to, and part of this process is when we engage, is that anybody who watches subsequent versions of this, and if we get better at it, we are embodying the truth. That's the people watching that are more important than we are.
Yeah, and the whole idea of the receptive state is that being open to what you are hearing and being responsive to that.
That's right. The live person listening, because when the person's talking, there's a lot of cognitive load in talking, and that is not being used when somebody listens. And therefore, you can kind of check more stuff out in terms of your awareness.
Yeah, it's almost like create space for a person.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah. And so, so instead of trying to focus and concentration and talking, the person listening can listen to that bit, but then can listen to the person behind. What's the agency? What's the intention? What's the objective of what they're saying? How does that fit into whatever it is that's going on in their reality or your reality or whoever else's reality? And it's true. This is a truth that we are acknowledging when we're talking.
Yeah. So it's, would you say, an indisputable fact or
Yeah.
honesty?
Well, volume 1, fulcrum, it's reflexive reading. This would be reflexive watching. And there are 3 social facts. The second social fact is that somebody's looking at it and somehow it got into their hands. And that's the truth, combined with this first social fact, which is something to do with the fact that we're recording this right now. And the third social fact is why are we listening? Okay, and that collective result was the total number of people that ever watched this are watching right now, which is pretty mind-blowing. If we could maybe, and we get used to that. So let's say there's 1 million people watching this. Of course, right now it's nobody. And that's true for us relative to us. But a millionth person watching goes, well, it's true. I'm the millionth person. Okay, so what on earth has happened between us now, this time, day 1, and the millionth person watching this? I mean, something interesting has happened. And it depends on who's listening.
And then who's also sharing it, telling other people about it.
Well,
it's
through the agency of the person listening. And if we don't source the whole thing in the person listening, we're just talking nonsense.
We're just talking to ourselves.
We're just talking to ourselves.
Which we can do.
That's right.
Individually.
So
But it isn't for this channel, obviously.
No, so that's the idea. So the idea is we are talking to each other and we are attempting to embody these different practices and hopefully get better at it so that when we invite people, people turn up and we have a conversation, they've got some kind of sense that we're doing something differently and how we're talking, why we're talking, the way we talk is different.
There's a naturalness and a normality about it.
Yeah. I don't think it's about performance.
No.
And I don't, because this is a very dull performance. But even though, I can actually get very, very entertaining.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, delayed. Yeah.
Sorry. Right. So transparency, preview of our work, reframe the medium.
But the idea of not doing performance is that idea of performance is to do with pretense, or the idea of being almost, conscious of the self more than others sometimes as well. So there's a kind of artificiality that could be surrounding it, whereas this isn't about that.
Well, if we focus on the person listening, quite often, very few people perform listening. I mean, professionals do it on TV where they go, or, you're like,
that
really?
facial expression.
But or they lean in or something, and they
I read something about leaning in the other day.
Okay, and it just
I don't
depends.
know what that meant.
And so, but then kids, you teach English, and, they teach the kids to say, show your interest by nodding every so often. And so the kids just sit there going, yes, they're not listening to a word. And I sit there going, oh my God. The nod happens naturally if you're following what somebody's saying.
Spontaneous.
A spontaneous thing. It's just that they have to be reminded that they can, if they wish, do such a thing like that, because it feeds back into the person who's talking and you help them.
Yeah, and it's being comfortable, isn't it? Your own body language as well. Body and use of body language.
Yeah. Teach these things kind of directly, consciously. And now we're going to all nod. Okay, everybody nod. Right, 3, 2, 1, nod. Right, like that. Okay. It's a bit weird what we do with kids, but anyway. So if the focus is on listening, it's easier for us to be authentic in our listening because we're a lot less performative in our listening than we are in our talking.
Yeah, for sure.
That's new. I'm happy with anything.
Very happy with that, aren't you?
Okay, and so that's the idea. The idea is that 2025 is the year everything changed. And why? Well, AI is a thing which is happening, and it's now getting. I mean, last year, 2024, I was saying to people, I was like, it's about our ankles. Okay, people are like, what? Because some people knew quite a lot about ankles.
Like a Yorkshire Terrier.
A little Yorkshire Terrier. Yeah. Like, well, I was thinking it was more like water at our ankles. Right. Anyway, and so the point is, it's going up. And this year, people already started to throw around the term, even this year with AGI.
I've heard the term.
Artificial General Intelligence. So it's an intelligence that can be applied to any realm.
Right.
Not just visuals, not just text, not just it can produce some text for you or some stories or some project management tool or whatever. Oh no, it can actually listen to music.
I was going to say
stuff like that. It's a general intelligence. It's applied across the board. It can be used to learn how to walk. It can be used to learn how to do anything. It's a general intelligence.
Wow. So it could be used to, in some ways, robots, walking robots, and all that kind of thing.
So the AGI, and they even said that GPT 03, I think they called it. They skipped 02 for various copyright reasons. So they call it 03, and they say that could potentially be general intelligence. Oh, maybe not. I'm interested in specific reflexive level of intelligence, and that's a little bit trickier to fold in. I produced a version using Claude of a thing which is reflexively contingently valid.
And how did you choose Claude?
Because Claude's great. Yeah, we like Claude. Claude has got a social angle to it, which is just way better. But I haven't checked GPT or GPT 03, so I don't know. You're meant to be checking that, Julie.
Yes, I started.
Wait. She says this every time. Yeah. And I said, oh, I started.
Alex,
You mean
yes,
the one time I said do it and you in
I
front of
did
me,
it.
you did
Yeah,
it.
I did it.
That was the time.
That was the time.
Oh, yeah.
But next
2 months
time,
ago, yeah. This is the
been a
material I've
little
got
bit
to do.
busy.
Huh?
Been a little bit busy.
Yeah. Okay, so 2000, so AI, but what we're interested in is the social. I've been interested in social all my life since the age of 2018. Chose to do social anthropology instead of maths, precisely because I thought the problem was social. 55 now, I have failed to
Grand old age. I'm sorry.
grand old age of 55, and I've not been able to produce much significant results at all. I got a bunch of kids in the room to do some incredible things. I feel privileged for that, but I have failed to translate that to the world of adults because adults don't quite pay attention. And so I now have developed a book. We tried for 4 months in 2024
We did.
to engage adults in education because Julie, you do education teaching.
I do. I have done for a long time.
And even with all your experience and your connections, respect that you have for many people.
We had some nice engagements. I had some nice conversations. And that was it.
How is it? And so
That's about 70, 80 people. There's a lot of people.
A lot of
spoke to
people.
in a short period of time.
we think so. And we had good engagements with quite a few of them, but not because of the people themselves, but they're all very busy basically. They've all got their own organizations, and money is a major issue, and who's got the money and how do they get the money, and that's probably the majority of the.
And how things are already set up, and how things are already bounded in certain ways, restricted. So.
And so the speed of change is variously restricted. And anybody that works in any organization knows this. You think, I'm going to change stuff when you're young, and then you start getting involved with things. You're like, bloody hell, this is the institutional inertia is just massive. So, but things are changing at a ridiculous rate, and AI is an example of that. And so the rate of change is potentially 40%, 60% job losses by 2030, I think. Massive influences in education across the board, law, everywhere.
I think something seems to be popping up every day within a company that's found a certain way of using or invested in using it a certain way.
And they fire a whole bunch of people because they've got an AI that can do the job. And we've only just, as I say, it's ankle deep. Okay, so we've got you were talking to somebody on the phone today, weren't you, in your bank?
I was.
Right,
Indeed.
to do some service. Right, AI.
Yeah.
Their job's gone. So it's just to do with rates, a rate of change, and
the thing is, the benefits can be amazing as well, because it can be quicker and more efficient and 24/7, and so it's kind of, as the person that's receiving that service, it's what not to like.
what's not to like. Yeah, the person's nicer, they're not going to give you any grief. There's lots and lots of reasons why they're not just the most skillful, but the mid and the low level skill jobs that humans are doing are basically threatened. But it's a very, very slow curve of growth, exponential. It's very slow. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1,024. 10 steps, 1,024. You can do exactly the same up to 1 million. Another 10 steps. Another 10 steps after that, you're to 1 billion.
I got slow growth, and then after that,
But then it's good. Okay, so for 10 steps, you're going from 1 to 1,000. Okay, from 10 to 20, you're up to 1 million.
Okay.
Oh, for the last 10 steps, like the first, it's not going up 1,000, it's gone up to 1 billion. After that, it's 1 trillion.
Oh, that's that bit.
Right. And so you can't spot the original kind of development progress. And so that's what's been happening with AI. People are like, massive, massive change. People have pundits be talking about massive change, but we're like, we haven't really seen very much. It's just another bubble. No, it's just going everywhere, very low level, and it's slowly rising until eventually it's like, whoa, I've spotted it. It's up to my knees. Oh, my head.
Yeah, I think there's something about that that's kind of a conscious decision by people to do that, so that people don't get too scared or too worried and the impact isn't felt too hard too soon. That's why I think it's been done in that way.
There's many, many different players, different levels of organization, companies, as well as governments that are aware of how do we play this change state over the next decade. Anyway, so I'm saying 2025 is a year of massive change. What we're saying, whatever degree of change that we get in terms of AI, we have the potential in a very short period of time to produce massive social change through the tools that I've developed, and with your slow process of kindness, okay, of proper relationships. And that's just slow. That's slow. That's a human speed slow. It's not going to happen in milliseconds. But if we start working well together, we get a little viral, okay, and we share something that goes into the thousands, into the millions, and it's done in the way through scale, so the money's changed. We transform money. Everybody's going, oh, wait a minute, this has changed. Like with a charity, we approached one charity, and it goes viral. Everybody's going to go, oh, wow, what's that? And then they want to take part, and then everything starts to change. But if we do that slow bit with the relationships, so you get the viral, that's fairly obvious, but it's the actual relationship engagements. So we get the first self-finance network. So there's like 5 of us that are working as if we're working in a company, but we're not. Yeah. So you're making as much money as you are like a teacher, but you're not a teacher and you're not working for a school or a government.
So the importance is it'd be about the people that are involved in relationships between the people and how they work and operate.
And to get up to the point where we're making 30,000, for example, a year equivalent, it means we've got some trust relationships. If I've got like 20,000, I'm going, okay, I'm going to put that into this group. Doesn't really matter what you do as long as you do good things.
And it doesn't involve a hierarchy. It doesn't involve marketing, promotion, sales.
None of that. So we will be talking about how do we create this self-financing network. We've already got it. So you take part in this, you get contact, you're already part of it, you get thanked, you get a little bit of cash.
Just need to register, don't you? That's all.
Yeah, in the act of sharing this or sharing whatever things that we're producing in the future, or have already been produced relative to you. All right. The point is the tools for these things have been developed. The trick is it's the use of the tools, it's the people, and there's something about that which is a little slow. So we can get it viral and within 3 hours have that billion people. We can get that to happen if we go, this is valuable. I'm going to share this within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, in an hour, that's 1,000 people. If you share it with 2 people, in 2 hours, it's 1 million. And in 3 hours, it's 1 billion.
I should trust you on those numbers coming back to you.
We're going to have to go through the numbers because you do need to have a clue of that, Julie, and I'm not going to accept you just having no idea what's going on with these things because people will be asking you, and you'll go, oh, okay, well, I have some rough idea what it is. Okay. This idea that you are clueless is not going to wash with me, and I'm not interested. So, right. Social, fulcrum, self-finance network. This episode, well, we're going to be going on these travels, 3 months each block, and we call them first, second, third seasons or iterations. First one's happening in the middle of January.
It says a couple of weeks, literally.
Yeah. And so this is preparatory kind of material content as we go forwards, but then we are going to be starting kind of properly when we land. This is a new location, and we'll have 3 months to try the first iteration. So each particular episode depends on what we talk about and what we need to do. Are you okay with this?
Yeah. What we've discovered, and what we've experienced, and what we're experimenting with.
Okay, so the
and also,
yeah,
if anybody else gets involved or people comment on it as well.
Yeah, of course. So as I say, we don't expect anything. By the end of the year, absolutely nothing's happened. I don't care. All right. What I do care about is that we bring ourselves.
Yes.
Okay. And anybody else that we engage, when we engage them, we are transforming how it is that they're engaging. So we are using this time to practice things. Yeah. So that when we engage people that are using traditional mechanisms, traditional uses of this medium, traditional money, traditional exchanges, we're just like, no. And we are doing this alternative. Okay, and there's a consistency to our style and how we're talking and the tools that we've got that are self-contained, self-reinforcing and stabilize. And we'd like to get to the point by the end of the year that we've stabilized that. So that's at least what we've managed to do.
Yeah, and bringing yourself means that idea of focus and attention, doesn't it? And a kind of sense of wholeness as well.
That's right. And a receptive state for anybody else participating.
Yes.
Okay, it is not a complete, as in like a shelled organizational bounded thing. It is complete in the sense as best that we can, and it is open and receptive for other people to engage. Okay.
Yeah, it's a human element, human beings.
Yeah, because I think human beings are porous. So yeah, it's a natural condition that we're in. Right, so that was the context. Who's invited? Nobody's invited right now, as far as I know. What we're up to. So, what are the particular projects? I'll describe one, and then you can describe one, and I'll describe one, and so on. Shall we try that?
Okay, let's try that.
Okay. I produced a game a while ago, and Julie, of all people, would have thought. And if you know Julie, you're a little bit surprised. I was a bit surprised.
Yeah, why are you surprised?
Because Julie's got this incredible capacity that is misused. Okay, it is. Because with kids, because you've got this kind of authority position, it means that the kids who know absolutely nothing ask, about Paris or something. And then you go, Paris, blah, 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 blah. And then you'll come up with something about Paris, right?
Yeah.
That might be based on some kind of fact.
And ask them something about Paris.
Yeah. But because you are the adult and you have heard of Paris and you have some idea of French, you speak a little bit of French and all this kind of stuff, it means that you can kind of go beyond the boundaries of what it is that you know, and you can just make stuff up. Yeah?
This is where you go. Okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of okay because you're just kind of fleshing something out for a kid, all right? And even if you don't know, you can take a guess.
Yeah.
Right. Fill in the blanks.
Creatively, imaginatively, intellectually.
Beautiful, all right? And so the kids go, okay, so they flesh it out in their heads. Now, whether it's true or not, it doesn't really matter. They've got a bit more of an idea, and then they can verify things at another point in their lives.
Yeah,
right.
Going there.
Yeah, going there. Oh, wait.
Or just going on the internet.
Yeah.
And watching something.
They do speak French, actually. Oh, yeah, Mr. Jackson was right. And, they've got, they don't have pointy ears, though. Well, what? Jackson said they had pointy ears. Okay. And so...
Just to clarify, I've not said that.
Yeah. That, right. But there are other things that you say that that's okay with kids. When you're doing it with adults who are experts and they start talking about something and you go, oh, okay, and then you just guess some stuff in front of an expert. I go, wait.
It freaks you out, doesn't it?
It does. We're talking to football people, da da da. You go, oh well, it's because of the ball. And what it does is if you kick da 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 da. I'm just like, don't talk about football, please.
Yes. Yeah. I think as I got older, I've got to do a bit more of a habit.
Well, the kids.
An expert about something and tell them what they actually know already.
I know.
And then I go, I do spot it now. I think a few years I had spotted it, but at least now I go, I'm really sorry. Because you are a taxidermist, I'm talking to you.
That's right. Oh, well, my auntie was down there and she had a crow that was like died. And then they actually tried to we use vinegar. We use vinegar for the beak. And it's like, what are you talking about, Julie? And it's because it's partly your sympathy, your effort of sympathizing and empathizing and getting on the other person's side to indicate you know something. And so people go, oh, okay, so the person knows something about it. And it works emotionally.
Express some interest, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I understand interest.
And it works. It works. You end up with people turning up because they like what you've said and they've connected with you and you connect with them.
Yeah.
They know nothing about you, but they feel that there's a connection.
Yes.
And so, anyway, so that aspect of you. Now, this aspect of inventing stuff, okay, happens to be if you're wanting like new things to occur, quite inventive, quite good,
quite fresh, quite live, quite in the moment.
So when you're trying to sit
and fearless,
especially if you're going into territories where we don't actually know what we're doing, and therefore you can say, "Oh, why don't we try this? Why not?" And that's what I love. All right, your courage in going into spaces, and that's what this is, and what we're doing this year. To just let's move house. Let's move. Let's get you a job. Oh, okay, right. Let's drive to a place we've never been. Oh, okay. Let's change our lives. Oh, okay, yeah, why not? And it's that kind of.
It's really hard doing business.
It is. Oh, okay. And then, so that courage mixed with your ability to just invent things, the combination is quite a potent one, and I want to see what we get this year. But the surprising thing,
I've not met anyone else like it in that sense.
well, like you.
I've met myself.
I don't know if you have quite. I'm still in that process. I don't know. But yes, no, you're quite an unusual because you're very, mainstream. You listen. You're very kind of almost like invisible, and yet you're just kind of like this crazy person, really. Coming up with ideas that are a bit bonkers, really. And my idea is complete bonkers. You're just, oh yeah, they're quite normal. No, they're not normal. Right. So, social soil. Okay, so this is one of the cards that I produced for a game called Scale. Oh, wait, is it a game?
Oh, no, it's a game within a game.
Okay, well, so I created this game. And so I returned back to it when I was producing the app. And they were just creating it. I thought, well, let's just do a board game. And I started creating it with this chat and didn't really get anywhere. I picked it out just a month before, or 2 weeks before Christmas or something, 3 weeks. I just went up because I've been carrying it around for like 2 years.
On a little tin.
In a little tin. And I got us, let's have a look at this.
Except for the actual board itself. It's a little tube.
Tube. Got that later.
Tube in a tin.
Okay, thanks for the detail.
That's okay.
Thanks for telling me
about
the detail of this thing. Okay. So I'm presenting this, but the reason why I'm saying this is because your ability to just come up with
stuff,
come up with different ideas about, okay, so how can this work? We come up with rules. Oh, this is how this card works. And it's like, okay, but can we think of a different way? And you go, how about? And it would just be like an alternative.
It would be. Usually more than one.
More than one. You go, okay, come on with another one. Oh, okay. And it's a bit like Claude. You ask Claude anything, and Claude goes, oh, okay, what about this? Beep. Okay. And so you do this, so that ability to invent things, I say, in some circumstances, great. In other circumstances, what are you doing? But in this particular case, it's brilliant. Trying to then go, okay, we have to construct it now, we have to put these pieces together. You're not.
No, the precision of
precision of putting things together.
Honing it down.
But going, what about this? What about that? What about this? It's just like, it's brilliant because it's within a framework. It's not completely outlandish.
Yeah, it's not outlandish or random or irrelevant or any of those things it could be.
It fits. It's within a certain framework. And if it's, and you can modify it.
Oh, it is.
So Julie's amazing in this regard. You are amazing, Julie. All right. And so choose this game. This is so it's a version of the game, and so that's one of the things that we return to. There's cards. This one's called Peacemakers Unite, and people play these cards into the future. And there are dice to do with virals. So there's 3 concurrent simultaneous processes. One of them is to do with what we think, i.e. words, projects, what we think, and time in the future. It's basically how do we self-organize a global unity, okay? And so that's what the game was meant to be. The cards represent that aspect, projects, which on the app is doing projects. You're aware of that?
Yep.
Okay.
Projects and products.
Yeah, products are things of the past. And then there are virals. So you get dice to try and virals. So we're simulating virals across various countries. And there's another part to do with tokens, and that's to do with the self-financing network and how that grows. 3 different rules, different things, cards, dice, tokens, working simultaneously. That's the trick.
It's almost like 3 different layers to a cake. 3 different layers of cream to a chocolate cake.
Okay, yes, okay, if you like that kind of thing. Yes, already remembering or reminiscing chocolate cake, which you're never going to taste ever again. Okay, so what I'm saying is that this is one of the projects, and it'll be great to do a little play test. We will continue doing the play test with this, yeah?
We are.
And we have to do each system, make sure each one kind of works. We have to grind into the detail of it. It's a little bit dumb, right? But we have to make sure the numbers can work and various things. Each system works, great, and then we put them all together. We say, can they all work together using the same numerics?
Yeah, we're thinking about the players, aren't we, and what they actually experience, what people experience when they're playing.
Yeah, what do we experience? And then by extension, we'll have to come up with people, and then hopefully we can get a bunch of other people to test it. Right?
And then what the game's about itself. It's not ordinary game, is it? It's not about, it's like snakes and ladders. You've got to get to the top first.
It can be. It is, for some players, it is to get the victory points and to win. Yeah.
Okay.
What's unusual about it? Why are you telling me? What's going on?
I just think it's more meaningful. There's a lot of
what
meaning
sense?
in the game, isn't there?
Like what?
What about some of the cards that you've just shown, for example, and what they tell us about what's going on in the world and nothing?
Okay, so this is one aspect of the game, and it's a matter of, we don't want to be spending an hour of our time talking about things that we already know what we're doing. It's about getting to the point where we are sharing with each other what it is that we've done and what we plan to do. So, so this game is an exercise, and if people play it, they invite other people to it. And the way they invite each other is through the app. And I've only started to make notes because I've already thought about it, but I've never really worked at it. We've got the global version, and then you might have the national version, and then potentially a local version, like the specific city you're in. And the playing of the game is with specific players in the city. And they're playing about the events that are happening in the city between specific people in the city. And it gets closer to a potential kind of board meeting. So instead of having strategy meetings and everything else in a company, what is that in a self-organized network? It's like playing this game. So it's like a game that we're playing together. And so the interface with reality gets interesting when it approaches that timeline of we're talking about hours to days, and you're going through a cycle. When you come together, you might play this game to assist in the process of what you're trying to do with a bunch of people.
So decision making, collaborating,
money
about
flow,
the collective or
sharing,
about the individual, thinking about both.
Yeah. How do we grow? It's like the way I described it before was scale is like the beginning of Twitter, but with money flow.
Right.
Okay, so it's like that, and so this tool, and these cards, by the way, interface with the cards that we've created already for the open business practices, the action cycle, and the open meeting, and so on and so forth. And that's the first level. That's the local level. And so the idea is that people can see that there's a relationship between the global thing and what they do locally. And it can assist with the scaling across as opposed to scaling up and scaling down, which is what the traditional method everybody's still implementing. So, so the game I think is interesting.
It's progressed well, hasn't it? Done a lot in a short period of time.
I think so. Although we haven't gone back to each of them. We have gone back to the cards once, and we haven't kind of done it again. We do spend a lot of time getting involved in wanting to win, okay, which requires a lot of energy, and then I'm a bit reluctant. There's something like a little bit of reluctance to go back to it because it's like there's too much effort involved. I'd want it to be, let's quickly play test this. Oh, okay, and just kind of go through it. The level of investment you bring genuinely is very nice, but it can be a little bit
intense.
It's a bit intense, yeah. Intensity is good, but just for a short period of time, then we have to let it go. And you won't do that. You want to find out who wins, which is good.
As is my nature.
Yeah. So,
but testing is different to playing with like a tally score.
Yeah. We just have to improve that a little bit. Sometimes it's a bit more like work.
It's investigative, isn't it? I think it's a bit more like being a detective of a project.
Yeah.
You're kind of unraveling certain bits on the way.
That's right.
You call it mechanics, don't you? The way it actually plays and the way it actually turns out.
There are some hard little problems that have to be solved, and I have to kind of track that, and I have to be boring enough to kind of like track that, and you have to be patient, just like get on with it.
Yes, I do.
And you want to have fun kind of doing it. It's like kind of, but I'm just tracking the numbers here. So
just see what the outcome is and how it plays out.
So hopefully we'll keep on iterating that, improve that, and hopefully we'll have a game that people can play.
Yes.
That's one project. Give me another one. What's yours?
Story. Oh, mine. Oh, right. So mine is hopefully good. Well, we'll be doing a podcast. So we've done a few recordings so far. I've got a name for it, the awareness, and it's just a matter of setting that up on Substack. I think I've started it, but it's a matter of learning about the software and actually putting something up and
Putting something up.
Posting something. Is it called posting? Pinning, posting, and then go from there, really.
Okay. So you've been in that state for quite a while. Do you actually think it's going to happen? Like,
yes,
soon?
I do think it's going to happen soon.
Keep us posted.
I will.
Weeks go by. Folks.
Well, I was going to
Weeks.
say, yeah, now doing a daily post, that's kind of incentivizing me to go.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going, okay, so where are you on this thing that you said you were doing? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. So you'll see the rate of development. Okay, another one is, yeah, we've had some nice conversations. We've had some fairly normal ones, and then we've had some crazy ones. Yesterday was a kind of crazy one. We're going to be watching a film later today. What is it?
The Robbie Williams film, a title of which escapes me. But
It's not Monkey Man, is it? I can't remember.
No, but it is full of monkeys.
No, it's not full of monkeys. It's got one monkey. It's him.
Is it just him?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was full of monkeys.
Unless
I
you-
read a review where someone said it's like Planet of the Apes, but Robbie Williams, so maybe not.
Okay, I don't think he's got his family of monkeys. I suspect he's the monkey.
Right, okay.
Anyway, so we will be recording our response to that, I think.
We will, indeed. Yeah, so the
Because-
social element, because when we talk about things, it's not just about the kind of the camera angle or the sound of things. Yeah, it's not about that, is
It's
it?
not about that. but-
No, good. If you got worried. We're doing that? No, we're not doing that.
I like leaving her on like stage
Yes,
there.
you do,
Because
yeah.
it's like I suddenly detect, wait a minute, she thinks she's on a stage. Okay, I'm going to leave her on that stage. Okay, rather than you just stop thinking you're on stage. What the fuck?
Yeah, so that'll be good. Excited, looking forward to it.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, look, we've had little chats about Matrix. We've had a little chat about
Lord of the Rings.
Gladiator. Lord of the Rings.
Gladiator 2. We almost
Although we didn't
rewrote.
record it.
No, we didn't.
We didn't record it.
No.
And so anyway, so there's things about how do we transform these medium, even though we're just like taking part like everybody else. Like how can we transform the medium? So, you know, and why does that fit with things like scale? Because when you go to a film cinema, you shouldn't just be watching a feature. You should be watching like a 20-minute thing before, pre-features. And the 20-minute things are like short previews of things that you can fund to do full features. So you've got like your funding things. And then before that, you've got adverts. They're not adverts. They're like pilots, like 30 seconds. You know, and you get about 10 of those. And you're like, ooh, I like number 7. I really like that. Here's my tenner. And you buy your ticket to this thing that hasn't even been made yet.
Wow, I haven't heard all this before.
Okay, so scale, all right? So we've got the tool to enable this. And so cinemas then become places where you don't just go there to just watch and then you say hello to people.
You
Don't even
engage
say that.
and you share.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. You say, what's the films we're going to watch? What are the things? Da, da, da. Then afterwards, you actually have a little discussion about the things. Why do you like that? Why is this one? And you kind of promote the thing that you like. And you're trying to find out how many people like this thing. Da, da, da. And you're an active part in the production of this thing. All right. And in fact, some of those films or features are saying we are looking for, you know, specific people, specific venues, specific locations, and specific cities in the world. And people are like, oh, look, why don't we do this? Do we have enough people here? So, you know, in Birmingham, there are people trying to create world-class film editing studios. Well, how do they do that? You know, well, go along to the cinema with a bunch of other people that aren't even aware that they're trying to do it. And then go, okay, well, that film there is looking for a place where they can come, you know, as a team and do the post, you know, editing, whatever. Oh, right, okay. And the point is people start to collaborate, work and say, right,
together.
would you like to be an extra? They want a building. Oh, we've got an old civic building. Yeah. We've got an old civic building that could be used like they did, Glasgow, they used Glasgow for the Batman film. And so all those relationships and associations, they're called producers and things, and making. I'm saying, open it out to everybody. Very soon, AI is going to be taking over everybody's jobs. What are people going to be doing? Things like this, you know. Yeah, and so we need to be ahead of the curve on this one. And if we can get to the point before AI takes all our jobs, we're actively going to cinemas, we're actively taking part and doing extras, at the local council building, just in the background, while somebody famous like Robin Williams or somebody other.
Breaking nose or coughing or
Yeah. What? Oh yeah. I'm listening. But look at me. I'm Julie. Clever.
Waving in one hand.
And so people are, and it would be cheaper because you're not paying for all these extra. People are just going, this just sounds like fun. Okay, and the economic is different. We're all just taking part and we're adding a little bit of cash and making things happen. And then the thing goes out globally. Can you imagine? We just feel like, I took part in that. Instead of 1,000 people, rolls down, 1,000 people took part in this thing. And I was one of them. Why not?
Which one do we watch? It's like
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Look what they did to New Zealand. I mean, remarkable. Just because they managed to get the contract, and they have to be New Zealanders, and the amount of money and everything because of Wheeland or Y or whatever production company. It's just like, so things can happen. And what we're saying is, if we activate our ability to engage in our receptive state, our agency. Even things like film. So yes, we'll talk about it, but we want to talk about it in these alternative ways. Reframe everything that we're doing, so that people realize, wait, are we allowed to do that? Yes, you are. We all are. And we've got tools to enable us to do this in ways that are very soon people will realize, once we start getting social validation, that is just remarkable. Enjoyable. And unrestricted by organizational boundaries. That's the clue. Okay, so another thing. Liberating from any organizational boundary. Like that. So it's all about relationships and trust, which we can start to grow and we start to realize we can engage people we don't even know with high trust. All right. And get a little result and we go, oh, we can trust them after all. And so the whole thing just iterates really quickly to extended periods of time. Minutes, hours to a day to a week. Oh, look, a month. Oh, look, a decade. Oh, 2 decades. Wow, 2 decades. That's a generation.
Wow,
that's what we're in for, right? So we're taking a year, all right? A year's a short period of time in a way, but in relation to 2 decades, it is 5%. So 5% of these 2 decades that I think are determining the future of humanity. Significant. So an hour. Slice. So we need to make sure that the things that we're doing, even what we're talking about, how we're talking about it, it's not really the content. The content is one thing. It's how we're talking about it as well. And it's kind of assuming all these different processes are going on. And they are. It might be just us, but it might be other people. And it's to do with, can I just take part in these things? Yeah. Another project related to scale is, I've called it Player Z, or Players with a Z. Players. Okay. And it's like a book, but it's about this game. People playing this game. And you've read Act 1. You've read and I've then subsequently modified Act 2. And we're starting to do Act 3. I've come up with a version that we have to look at it. I was thinking you maybe get involved today, but you didn't quite have time to do it or something. And I don't know about it, so maybe you'll come up with something to improve it. And then the next act after that gets interesting because it's about a book. So the person's reading a book about a game, and then it's about a book. Right. And so you start doing the reflexive thing. So it's meant to be phase changes as you read. So this thing was meant to be, we're going to maybe share some of it.
10 minutes.
We could do a little bit of that.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
It's just all about using time well, isn't it?
Well,
making sure we get the most out of the time that we have.
Well, once we start getting this, it's like we just dive in. We won't be sitting there, blah, 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 blah. Whereas this is, most of it will be blab, but it's about what we're actually doing.
Yeah, some
it's
idea.
Like an open business
orientation of where we are.
Yeah, just when we get together and talk about our things. But you need to bring that and I need to bring that.
Yes.
Okay. And we need to bring that. Okay, well. Okay. Is there what other projects do you have in mind even slightly? Education, Julie. do you have any aspect of that that's interesting to you?
Can't think of anything that springs to mind at the
Okay, we
moment.
spent 4 months on something, but you know, it seems to just disappear. All right, so
Hasn't disappeared.
okay, reflexive education. We didn't, you know. Okay. So reflexive education is about ABC classes and getting ABC classes operational in schools. I think that's perfectly valid. I think we can pursue that without getting sucked into the crappy way of doing it. It'd be nice to, you know, maybe present at conferences or talk to people, network, and see if anybody's interested and give it a go.
Sounds good.
In terms of, we can also deliver certain lessons and various things to kids. You know, metacognition.
Oh, we talked. Yeah, we mentioned. Yeah.
We are going to be disappearing out of the country, so a lot of those things are going to kind of like disappear from the options. But
We've got opportunities online.
That's it.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, potentially we could do a bit of tutoring as well, but limited interest for me. But I don't. I've always liked the idea of doing 3 lessons with a kid. If I haven't produced a result with a kid in 3 lessons, I'm like, what was the point? It's not about holding their hand or delivery of information, because that happens in a school, or by another tutor. It's about listening to the person, finding out what they think's going on, finding out why they're stuck, unsticking them, and then they're off.
The transformation itself, isn't it? Reorientating them really into a way that they can access things
naturally to them. It's just that they haven't quite been using their tools, their minds, their abilities, because they've been told it's this, that, and the next thing. They've externalized it, and then they just are clueless.
They get frustrated and sometimes they give up. And if they're one of like 33 in a classroom, it's hard to have that kind of attention or focus or suggestion made to them. So
yeah. So you bring that. You bring that. I bring it too. I bring like rapid transformations. You're much slower about relating, but I think to do that and then get something nicely going, I think is very important.
And hopefully they're things that last with them for the rest of their lives as well. It's not just for school, but it's for life skills. So
you need to think about that. This is not an advert. This is not us saying various things. It's about us going, all right, are you actually working on that? Have you done anything about it? Is anything happening? And so that's what these meetings are. You know, have we got further? Oh, look, I'll show you this website I've got, or this text, or whatever it is. Right. So the educational stuff like that. Fulcrum book. I would like to use AI to write the complementary sections to it. I think that would be quite a nice thing to do, I feel. Again, it'd be nice to move forwards with Fulcrum. It's a book. Be invited to, you know, hello, I've got this book. This is what it's about. It'd be quite nice if that happened.
You can do that online as well.
Yeah.
I want in February set up already.
Oh, I'm terrible at that kind of thing. So if we could set that up for the year, that'd be great. If you can help with that.
Yeah, I
can. Those are the ones that are coming to my mind right now. You know, in terms of the book or scale, getting a viral to happen would be fantastic. Finding a charity that goes, let's give it a go. That'd be cool. I don't see why we can't continue with that in the right way. And
open business stuff.
And the open business stuff, the idea of being online, kind of like this, but doing an open meeting, it's kind of built into that. Action cycles done in person. I don't know if we could do that. We should be able to do online versions of things and gift parties for people.
Party, yeah, I was gonna say.
So, but the year is more to do with the creative stuff. You know, using AI to create very short little videos that are interesting. You know, 15 seconds TikTok stream. People just go, what is that? And it's not just a visually interesting thing, but it's actually the message is interesting.
But I can do anything with music would be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure what that will look like yet.
So I think that's okay. I think we've done a reasonable job. Day one. 5 minutes left. Day one. We just talked about things. Last year, I created a few videos. Ooh, I was quite excited by certain potentials in doing that. Yeah, kids in classes. There was some potential. I thought, oh, this is very interesting. Because I had some kids in certain classes, and I thought, okay. And if certain things happened, people responded in certain ways. Not just the kids, but the adults to certain things. There was potential that I didn't quite realize. So, yeah, they're up somewhere online. I've shared them with you. But the potential for that's gone. In the same way that 2025 will come and it will go. And it's whether we realize that potential or not. It's whether we realize the potential of the hours that we engage or not. Or if we're like concerned about trying to explain things to people or thinking we're on stage or anything like that.
Yeah, whether the focus shifts with us or without us knowing sometimes as well, isn't it? So it's
And
kind
it's-
of being true to the process of it all and true to the practices that we embody and kind of living by going forwards.
So that's the trick, because the whole thing just, as soon as it starts to happen, it starts to veer off. It always does. It's like swimming against the current, or even just obliquely to it. It's just always constantly with pressure towards talking kind of mindlessly, advertising, explaining, justifying one's position, authority, selling, positioning. Endless amounts of it. Every direction we go in. We're not immune to it. We are part of it. And so for us to create the space, we have to, be very disciplined, but also
Very
relaxed, clear. But give ourselves some slack as to we don't expect to get results. In fact, any results. But we are still putting ourselves into the frame of, well, let's give it a go.
It's an opportunity to explore.
So how we do these will change over time. I don't know if they get more professional, but if there's more people involved, then it has to be more efficient. Okay, and it won't have as much
Lassitude.
People just waffling. So we kind of need to bring that into play in what we're doing. So it's not about what the results are, okay? It's about how are we conducting ourselves.
And by conducting, you mean how we are engaging.
How
So
we
that-
are engaging.
Yeah.
And in certain ways that other people can't hear and listen to, but we're not addressing them because...
But we've got an awareness and sensitivity.
Yes. Yeah. And that's...
Without a directionality.
Yeah. It's a bit artificial, it's a bit uncomfortable in its own way, but it's a bit...
It's also quite subtle in other ways as well.
It is. I'd like to have the ear, because that thing, the camera thing, is always like, oh, it's like, I would rather have more that there's a listening ear. I could do, for example, I'm much more comfortable with the recording audio-wise. For some reason, that makes sense to me.
Yes, yeah, me too.
You can almost like forget it's there, but we're aware. We can have fun.
But it's also the receptacle is only to listen. It's listening just as the people are listening, so it mirrors that. So I like that.
Whereas this thing still has a kind of, maybe it is
It's got
kind of
a
like,
screen and it's...
that's why we're doing them both. We're doing just the audio and we're doing this. So, are we good?
Yeah. 1 minute left.
Okay, good enough for me. End stream. Don't even know if this is going to be recorded. And anybody watching right now? Michael. Yeah, exactly. It was fun. Wow, something has happened. You might know what it is more than we do. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, we are like, wow. So we're looking forward to whatever the hell it is that you get up to. Yeah. Or somebody between us and you. Okay, something like that little distribution graph.
Yeah. That's right.
sharing forwards. So if you're at the beginning of this process, then it's really challenging. So, you know,
Like you were pioneer, you said, didn't you?
pioneers together. All right, do well. Yeah.